Hey, seventh grade, today we're going to look at converting decimals into fractions. As you saw on the previous slide, the first thing we do is look at what place value our terminating decimal goes out to. So if you look at this first one, it is 6 in the 10th place. That means that 10 will be our denominator, and we only have a 6 to the right of the decimal, so that is our numerator. So we would say our fraction is 6/10, but this does simplify. 6 and 10 are both divisible by 2. So we really have 3/5. Okay? For this next one, 55, it goes all the way up to the 100th place. So we will put it over 100. I'll put a 55 as the numerator because that's all we have to the right of the decimal. And again, we can simplify this. These are both divisible by 5. And we end up with 11/20. I know that I am done simplifying because 11 is prime and it is not a factor of 20. Next up, we have a 13 in the 100th place. So we know our denominator is going to be 100. Our numerator is 13. 13 is prime and it is not a factor of 100. So we're done. We cannot simplify that any further. And our last one here, you'll note we have a bunch of zeros. Because they're between the decimal and our last digit, they are important. We need those. So we have 8 in the 1,000th place. So we pronounce that decimal as 8/1000. Our numerator is 8. And our denominator is going to be thousandths because that's the place we went to. And of course, we can simplify. These are both divisible by 8. And we get 1/125. Here we have one last example where we have numbers going out to the 100th place, but it's a 0. So let's take a look at what happens when we have a 0 as our last digit in a decimal. We're in the 100th place, so let's make our denominator 100. And we have a 50. So now we simplify. They're both divisible by 50. So that gets us 1/2. What if we had ignored that 0 and pretended it wasn't there? What if we had said 5/10 instead? Well, both of these are divisible by 5. And that gets us 1/2 again. So if the last digit in a decimal is a 0, you can effectively ignore it. It's not going to change the value. But that only works for 0 when it's the very last digit. Anywhere else, and it matters.